Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Sunday Night Live. Tonight, I'm actually pre-recording this because it is Sunday the 21st. As you're watching this, it's Sunday the 21st of April. And right now, at this moment that you're watching, I am probably above the Pacific Ocean somewhere on my way to the US. So you'll have to bear with me tonight. It is all pre-recorded, which means I won't be responding to your comments and questions like I normally do. It also is really hard for me. It's a bit lonely recording all by yourself. I really love the feedback that I get when I'm talking to you guys live, but you can still talk to each other. And if you do have questions of any kind, pop them in the comments and I will, as soon as I'm able, I will read through and answer them if I can. So I hope that everyone has had a great weekend. I'm going to be playing with something tonight that we are saying goodbye to because I thought I really need to do that a little bit. We've got so many fantastic products that are actually retiring or being discontinued at the end of April. And some of them have sold out already. So the ones that have already sold out are no longer available and they won't be coming back. Okay, so unless you keep an eye on the clearance rack, which you should do anyway, because sometimes in the clearance rack we do have some retired products show up there. So there's a possibility that that can happen down the track. But I'm going to be using a bunch of things tonight, some of which are marked down, and I'm going to be using an old favorite set while I can. So I did check the list before I started to make sure that it's not already sold out, and it's not. Now I'm recording this the week before. So anything could happen in the next week. So if that happens, my apologies. But in order to get everything done by the time I leave, I need to start now. So you'll just have to forgive me for that. But if you are after something that I'm using tonight and it's still in the list, grab it while you can. All right. So let's switch over to the desk. Here we go. And you can see I have my catalogues here to remind me to tell you that these are both the mini and the annual catalogue are retiring April 30. Okay, so they're coming up to the end of their shelf life. They've both been lovely. We've got some beautiful, beautiful things in there. And tonight I'm going to play with something out of the annual catalogue that I haven't played with for a good long while. It's a set that when it came out, I absolutely loved it, called Nature's Prints. Okay, some of you may remember this one. Particularly, I love this leaf. I have used it so many times. And there's also a really great splotchy stamp in here because, you know, I love a good splotchy stamp, right? So yeah, I'm going to use those tonight. So let's start. Now I've actually decided on my colors already, and I've cut my card front piece here. This is Coastal Cabana, this color. I pulled out Lost Lagoon and it was a little bit dull for what I wanted, and I'm wondering if I've picked a color that's dark enough actually, because I am actually going to use Versamark ink on here. And then I'm going to make a decision. If it's not dark enough by itself, then I'm going to use it. I'm actually going to emboss it if that's the case. So I'm going to use this beautiful big leaf. The stamp set is called Nature's Prints. Something I didn't check before I started, and I'll do it now, was to see whether it's actually marked down. Retiring. Here we go. Here's our retiring list. And the retiring list is by page order. So if you're looking at the list itself, which you can get in either PDF or Excel version, okay, I'm looking for the easiest way is actually to use your catalog and find the item that you're looking for in the index, which is in the back, because that's all alphabetical. So Nature's Prints is on page 24, okay? And if I look at my list here, I go down to page 24. I can see that the stamp set is being retired, not marked down. Okay. Now, interestingly, the dies, which are up the back, let me go, and I think they're a bit easier to find because there's not as many of them. So they're called Natural Prints dies. Let me just see if I can find them without needing to look up the index. Natural Prints dies. Okay, those are 50% off. Okay, so definitely if you're wanting this, it's not a bundle. It used to be when it first came out, but in the last catalogue, it wasn't a bundle. Okay, the stamp set is still the normal price, which is $44, but it is low in stock when I'm recording this. So I hope I haven't given you guys, but you can, if this set has sold out by the time I'm showing it, not only am I very sorry about that, but there are lots of other sets that you could do the same stuff with that I'm doing. Just use a different set. We do have other leaves. So I'm actually going to stamp in Versima. Now, this is a rubber stamp set, which means I don't actually need a mat underneath, and it is very light. Can you? Oh, hang on a second. I didn't change the view. There we go. It's very, very light. All right, so I am going to look at embossing this. So if I've chosen a darker color cardstock, it might have been a little bit more, might have been a bit more impactful, maybe. So let me see. Yeah, really, really light. I mean, it looks, I can see it and it's showing up in the light, but I'm kind of filling my background. I'm more interested in the outside because I'll probably have some sort of label or something in the middle. That's my plan. So I'm just going to ink up my stamp again, and let's see what we can do with this. Go this way maybe. I want them going different directions. So I'm sorry it's not showing up very well on the camera, is it? I can see what you're looking at, and it's not very exciting at the moment. All right, and I'm going to go this way. Right, that doesn't look too bad. I don't know if you can kind of see the design there, and you can see if I catch it in the light that it's shiny, and that's because it's sticky. Now, yes, I should have used my embossing buddy first, which I always forget to do. I don't know why I have a block on remembering to use my embossing buddy, but anyway, I didn't use it. It's not the end of the world. It'll be fine. And I'm going to bring in my embossing additions kit. Now, I've actually got a couple of whites from the last video I did, and I've got clear. I'm going to use clear. Now, the white would definitely show up more, but the clear is going to give me like a really nice shiny background, and I want it to be kind of, yeah, I don't want it to be super, super dark. So I'm going to go over this. Now, I may go back in after, and think I'm sure I'm going to go back in, and we're going to fill in some spaces. Now, I've used up all my powder there. I'm just going to pick it up by the edges and then make that go down over the rest of the card so it's covered everything. Can you see that? All right, now I can see now that we've got our powder on it. Let me tap that off. Now that we've got our powder on, I can see a couple of bits that I've got extra powder on that I probably wouldn't have got as much if I had used the embossing buddy, but hey, we just know what I just did there. I'm going to, that's just me. Now I've got a little bit of overstamping here, so I'll get rid of that. So what I'm doing is getting rid of any stray powder that is anywhere that it shouldn't be. Right. All right, and I've got a bit of blank space as well, but I'll deal with that later. All right, happy with that. I hope you can see that is now showing up a little better. And because I'm using my tray, I'm going to take the plug out and I'm going to tip that all back in. I love this this tray. I just think it's such a cool thing, and it stops you making a big mess on your desk, which some people can be tidy and neat when they craft. I really can't. I just don't know why. I just can't do it. So, so for me, having a tray to work with and keeps everything contained, and I love that. I'm going to use it as well. Put the plug back on so I don't lose the lid, because if I lose the lid, it won't work as well. All right, and I'm going to bring in, you'll see a light sort of come on as I switch this. That's okay. And I'm going to bring in my heat tool, and I'm going to hold my piece of paper in place just so it doesn't blow around, and I'm going to hit this with the heat tool. And it doesn't take terribly long. Of course, this is a technique in its own right, but because we're using the clear, it's just going to give us like a slightly darker, shiny image on the background, and it's going to look really, really good. I actually use clear and white, those two, more than I use any other embossing powder. And for anyone who's wondering, the clear and the white do come in their own packaging. I am not sure, but I have a funny feeling they may have sold out currently, because they did retire them. But don't worry, there's going to be embossing powders in the new catalogue. They're just going to be in a different format, so don't panic. They're coming back. I will double check that for you in a second in case I've given you a bum steer. Right, you can see now that Even though it's clear, isn't this looking beautiful? Like it starts to, it's a really lovely effect. By the way, the color I'm using for the cardstock is Coastal Cabana. I don't know if I said that earlier, which is one of my favorite colors. We have a new color in our in colors that's quite similar to this called Summer Splash. A little bit darker, a little bit stronger. All right. How's that looking? Looks good, right? And, you know, we've just got random leaves here and there, all right? So you can see they're shiny and they look terrific. Great. It's a great technique and very simple to do. All right. So now I want to use my splodgy stamp. Of course I want to use my splodgy stamp. It's this one. It's a really, really interesting splodge too. I'm going to put that on block C. Fits quite nicely. And I'm going to grab my Coastal Cabana ink. So let's fill in some of the gaps in here. Once again, it's kind of random. Which way will I go? I'm going to go this way. And if you didn't want it as dark, you could go Pool Party ink, probably would still work for you. Just a little splodge down here on the edge. And I'm wondering if I need any more, actually. Maybe a little bit in here. Right. I think that's fine. It's looking really nice. Isn't this a beautiful stamp? This leaf has done a lot of work for me. I'm going to miss it. All right. Now, let me see. I would like to have this on a piece of basic white cardstock. So I've got my basic white. This is thick basic white. And I'm going to pop that. It's half a sheet of A4 because that's what we use here in Australia. And I have folded that half sheet in half again. All right, just like that. Oh, I got some ink on there. Now that's happened because when I went over the edge with my glass mat, some of that residue was there. So, you know, just always keep some paper towel, or I don't usually use baby wipes to do this because I don't want it to be wet. So let's see. I'm sure this will cover all that up, but let me double check. Yes, it will cover that up quite nicely. All right, so let's pop this on. I wonder deciding what label to use. There is a label in this stamp in the die set. I'll show it to you, but I feel it might be a bit small for what I want. Depends. Now that's actually tiny bit long on that end, so I'm actually going to cut that end off. Use my only a tiny bit. It goes, you notice it goes through both layers quite easily. All right, happy with that. Now the question is, which way do I want this to go? Will it be portrait or will it be landscape? Now I have got some die cuts I've already cut. This is from the Thoughtful Expressions dies. These are retiring at the end of the month, and I'm sad about it because I have shown you these before. These are absolute, oh, they're upside down. Give me a second. Flip. They are absolutely beautiful, but they're not staying. So these are going to be discontinued. So if you don't have them, you've got these lovely banner shapes, and then you've got these fabulous, they're almost like a fancy octagon is kind of what they're like. That's what I'm calling them anyway. They're not really a circle, but they're kind of, you know, wibbly wobbly around the edges and rather beautiful. So there we go. Very, very nice. But that's where this shape came from. So, you know, that's the second one up from the bottom. And if I was going portrait, I could pop it here in the middle and have my greeting here and have a couple of things coming out from behind. That would be a nice option. Or I can go this way if I'm going to have it as a landscape card. Haven't decided yet, but I feel like it's a bit small this way. I think I would want a bigger size panel if I'm going to go to landscape. So, and of course, you're probably all yelling portrait or landscape right now, and I can't hear you because I've already recorded this video. So sorry about that. You don't get a choice tonight, guys. So sorry. All right. The other option we have got in this natural prints dies, there is a label in here. But once again, this one is a kind of a smaller label. So what you could do is if you wanted, you could have that here in the top and it would look rather nice. I mean, back in when the vellum was available, I would probably put a vellum piece behind that and that would actually look really nice. Oh, I could still do that with the vellum basics. Ooh, we could do that. That might be the go, guys. Yeah, let's do that. All right. So I've got some nice greetings in here and I'm going to put this on a piece of white. Let me see. I've just got a scrap here. So let me use this scrap. And what would I like to have in there? Maybe just a hello there, maybe, or a heartfelt thank you. They're both nice. I like both of those. Let me see. See this one. Oh, it does fit. Okay, so it does fit all of them, but you know, you're on my mind is there. Yeah, I think I'll just go the hello. The hello there is just nice and simple, right? And you can use it in all sorts of different occasions. So I do like that. Let me grab B block, which will be plenty big enough. And I could go with Coastal Cabana ink, but let's go with a dark color. So in the same blue green kind of a thing, we've got some pretty peacock here, and this will work as well. So let me tap this on my ink pad really gently. The important thing is when you're inking up, do not push into your ink pad. And even just tapping lightly, you can see I've got ink going on around here. So I'm going to clean this off and let me give you a couple of pointers about inking up. Okay, so this is what happens. People try and push. So they push into the ink pad. Look at it now. The whole thing is covered and there's no way I'm not going to be able to transfer some of that ink around there to the piece of paper. So I'm going to clean that up. Do not push on your ink pads. The foam on the felt pads, that work fine, but on the foam pads that we've had for a few years now, it doesn't work as well. And people are still doing it. Oh my goodness, they're still really, really light. So basically, oh, and even doing that, look, it's still got some. So always check your stamp before you start. And don't push or you'll end up with ink absolutely everywhere. All right, so I'm hoping that this is going to be big enough. Oh, it is. So I'm going to pop that in the middle, that hello there. And then I'm going to come in here. It's easier to stamp first and then cut because you can position your stamp where you want it rather than trying to perfectly get the stamp onto the label. If you're very skilled and your stamps are on very straight, that may work for you. But when you're using rubber stamps, I find it's usually easier to position the die around the stamp than you try and do it the other way around. The other thing you can do, and this is not a necessary thing, you might be quite comfortable putting it through like this, but if you want to make sure it's held in place, just use a little bit of washi tape or a post-it note. And if you do that, okay, I'm just going to make sure that that's held in place where I want it, and I'm just going to position that over there. Okay, and I could put one on the other end as well if I wanted to, although it's probably not necessary, but it just gives you a bit of security when you put it through your machine that it's going to hold it in place and it's not going to move. Oh, whoops. And guess what I just did? I did what I said not to do. I didn't use a big enough piece of washi tape and then I stuck it to the glass mat. That's my problem. All right, better. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this through my cut and emboss machine. I'm not going to bring the machine over. I'm just going to put it through where it is, and that'll be quicker than setting up the machine and taking it down again. I feel like the card's going to need something extra though, so let's see what in the dies we can play around with. All right, so now I'm going to take this off and just very gently peel off my washi tape. You don't want to peel it off too fast or you might rip the surface of your paper. That's fine. And I'm going to pull that out. I do like this die because see how it's got like a little border, like an embossed edge? It's really nice. All right. So if we're going portrait, which I've decided to do, and I'm also thinking I've got some of our vellum basics paper, which is still available at the time I'm recording that. So if you want some vellum basics, you want to grab those because they're fabulous, and we don't have any other vellum at the moment. So I'm going to pull out a punch, and I'm deciding how big I want this to be. I've got a 2-inch punch, which might be fine. Let's see. Let's do this out of my stripy paper. Let's see how that looks. So we can put it so it's straight up and down, or we can have it so it's on an angle maybe. I don't know, like so. We could have also used the one that's got the leaves on it. That would also look nice. You know I love my vellum circles, girls. What am I going to do without vellum circles? All right, so that's the size of that one. Let's do the bigger circle. So that's 2-inch circle. See that? And then I'm going to pull out the 2 3/8. So this is the bigger one. These are currently available in our online store. If you wanted to grab yourself, I think circle punches are one of those things that everyone needs to have because they're fantastic. They really are. All right, so let's see how this one looks. If I wanted the stripes to be diagonal, that's how they would look. Actually, that bigger one might be better. I think it's better. What do you guys think? Why am I asking you? You can't answer me. I don't know which one I like the best. Do I want this one? They both look good, but I'm going to go with the bigger one. So, and I'm thinking I might have it on an angle rather than, you know, you could have it straight up and down if you wanted. I mean, that's a different, it definitely does give you a different look if you've got your stripes up and down, like so. All right. But I think I'll do mine on an angle. So I'm going to put some dimensionals behind this little guy. I've got some right here. And you can see I had something else behind there. I used a scrap of paper that had been used previously, but that's fine. I often use the back of my pieces. You want to make sure you're getting good use of all your stuff, right? Like so. All right, that looks good. Liking that. And then on the back here, I'm going to put some more dimensionals behind there again. So the vellum just, not only does it soften the whole thing, but it also kind of makes a highlight out of the label. And I'm putting more dimensionals behind and making sure they're behind the label so they don't show through the vellum. So that works. Let's grab those. Okay, I'm going to position that so it's the same distance from this side as this side. Now we definitely are going to need some bling on here, and maybe even some ribbon. I do have, here we go. I wonder how this would look. This would be nice. This is the pool party, what's it called? Pool party grosgrain ribbon. Yes, that's what it is. Now I noticed mine's a bit wrinkled down this end, so I'm just going to chop that bit off. When I find my ribbon scissors, which have mysteriously ended up somewhere they shouldn't. Oh dear. I'm going to use, don't look guys, I'm using a pair of scissors that are not Stampin' Up scissors, and I'm not happy about it. Mind you, the ribbon scissors, they used to be Stampin' Up scissors. They're no longer, you can't buy them anymore, so it really doesn't make any difference. But whatever scissors you use for ribbon, keep them for only ribbon. Don't use them for anything else. All right, so this ribbon is marked down to $7. You definitely want to go and check out the retiring products, okay? And when you go into the online store, you will find the retiring products there. The reason being that there are some fantastic, like a lot of embellishments and ribbons that are marked down to like $7, which is fantastic. So that's actually half price. And, you know, that can really boost your supplies to have lots of ribbons and embellishments that are marked way down. If you're a demonstrator, you get your discount on top of that. So you're getting like 70% off or 75% off. That's pretty fantastic. Now I could have this in the middle, or I could have it, I think I like it on one side. Okay, I'm just going to use my scissors again to cut. So the other pair of scissors that I normally use for cutting ribbon, they were once upon a time they were Stampin' Up scissors, but Stampin' Up don't sell scissors like that anymore. And there's a ribbon story scissors story that I've told before in previous videos. And you probably don't need to hear that again. But anyway. All right, so I'm going to grab my glue dots. Let's see how we go here. Find my glue dots. I might have to chop off the edge there because that one is not in use. And I'm going to put this ribbon onto the main part of it onto the glue dot and press really hard with my thumb. All right, so I'm pressing that there. And then I'll take the ribbon off and the glue dot is now attached to the ribbon, and then I can put it right there where it goes, like so. Ooh, it's looking pretty. We like this. This is what we would call a monochrome card, where we just pick one color from the color wheel, and really we're stuck with the same colors. So Pool Party and Coastal Cabana are in the same color family. In fact, I'm wondering, I have got a color wheel here. Yeah, Pool Party and Coastal Cabana are next to each other. So if you're using colors that are next to each other, if you're using one color, it's monochromatic. If you're using two or preferably even three colors, and you can see Summer Splash, that new color I mentioned to you, Coastal Cabana and Pool Party are together on the color wheel. Okay, that makes them analogous colors. Analogous colors are two or three colors together on the color wheel next to each other. They will complement each other, and that's exactly what we've got here. So we've got, I haven't used the Summer Splash, but we've got Coastal Cabana and Pool Party. What I could have done was use the Summer Splash color for the greeting. That would have worked. But in the meantime, let's grab ourselves some gems. And I'm thinking we need to maybe use maybe some iridescent rhinestones, because those are also retiring. And isn't that just the saddest thing? They've been around for years, so I'm not particularly surprised. I'm just looking to see if I've got another packet that's got some of the bigger gems, because this one's only got the medium size and the small. So let me just see. I've had so many packets of iridescent rhinestones, and of course now that they're retiring, I'm getting very low in stock. The other thing that would look really good with this, for those of you who are watching this after the date of the new catalog comes out, these are the new in colors that have shimmer gems. Look at that one in the middle there. See that color in the middle? That would also go beautifully. In fact, almost too well, because it would actually almost blend into the Coastal Cabana. That's the Summer Splash. That's that color. They're absolutely beautiful. They really are. All right, I'm still looking for some more iridescent rhinestones. Like I said, I'm getting very low, so I'm just going through, and of course it'll be the last one that I find in my big box of embellishments, which when I get back from this trip, I am going to go through. Oh, and there's also these. These are really nice as well. And you'll notice here there's a few gold ones left. They're called gold, but I like them because they pick up almost whatever color you're using. So you could use those with everything. Those are also marked down to $7. They're being retired. So they've been, iridescent rhinestones and the pastel gems have probably been my two biggest go-to embellishments, the ones I use the most. You know what? I'm actually looking at this now and thinking that this might be my last sheet. I think it is. So that's a bit devastating, isn't it? Never mind. I'm just going to use what I've got on here. I'm going to use, let me see, I'm going to use the point of my scissors just to pick up a couple of these. So I'll have one. Now, where do I want to put them? Do I want to put them mostly around here? I think I'll have one here. And then another one over here, like so. And then a little tiny one, because I've used two medium-sized ones, little tiny one up here on the vellum, like that. And there we go. I'm going to call that a finished card. What do you think? Now, because I am away and I'm recording a million videos before I go. Well, that's how it feels. It's not actually a million, but it feels like a lot. I'm just going to be doing one project in each of the videos over the next couple of weeks. I do one project in my Technique Tuesdays anyway, but I'm going to actually extend that to Friday and Sunday night so that I have time to record all the videos for the time that I'm away, and you guys still get together on your Friday nights and Sunday nights. So I'm just thinking, should I waffle a little bit more so you get more time to chat? But probably not. I hope that you've had a fun time watching Make This. Like I said, if you are interested in the Nature's Print set, at the time of my recording this, it is still there, even though it's low in stock. The Nature's Print dies are also still there, and these are marked down half price. Okay, so if that's something that interests you, and you go and check out the online store and see whether you can still grab it. So there's a lot of things that have sold out in the last week, but there's still loads more to go. So I'm hoping that you guys are going to get yourselves a bargain and enjoy all the cool things that we have on offer. I will stop doing the retired products very shortly, and I'm going to start to focus on new products that are upcoming. So look out for that transition. But in the meantime, have a fabulous week ahead. You will see me again live, well, not live, but pre-recorded on Tuesday with a new technique for you. And then, of course, next Friday night and Sunday night and so on like normal. So going to try and keep the routine going, and I hope you all have a fabulous week ahead. Thank you so much for watching me tonight, guys, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.